Well, good evening. Welcome back to Virtual Pool 4 Online. And yes, we're back for another match in this year's Virtual 9-Ball World Championships. It's a second round match between Spectredawn and Sergeresh, which is due to start in about 5 minutes' time. And there is another match on as well, which clashes with this one. It's on the one-loss side, and it's between Dirties and I can't remember who, but it's scheduled for the top of the hour. It's somewhere on the bracket. It is there somewhere. I can't see it. I probably went past it twice, or is it up the top? Where the hell is it? I saw it earlier on. There it is. King Eric and Dirties. Now, I'm going to suggest that King Eric never turned up, or neither of these two players turned up, the Reedman and King Eric. And King Eric was the unlucky one that gets sent across here. Now, Dirties may well get a bye. I don't know whether this King Eric will turn up tonight again either. But anyway, that's not the match that we're interested in. The one that we are interested in is not that one either. That's tomorrow night. Is the match between no, that's not tomorrow night. What's this? This is the 5th, isn't it? Yeah, that is tomorrow night. And then that's for Wednesday night, the one with VP Monster and Cobra. And Bedhead. Oh, Bedhead and Linus are set to go as well. Earlier, they're going to start at 6, so that's a second round match. And Linus is going to be up against it in that one. Going to have to play well and sensibly if he's going to get any joy out of Bedhead. And finally, we've found the match that we're waiting on, the one between Spectredawn and Sergeresh. Now, the match that I missed last night was the one between Tommy U and LS3, and that's the one that went all the way. It went all the way to a final rat decider, and LS3 won out on that one. According to what she said, it wasn't a great match, but in the end, she came through it. That must have lasted quite a while, I would imagine. So she's through, and Tommy U has moved over to the one-loss side. So there's going to be a lot of decent players on that one-loss side as well, eventually. But things begin to get interesting now as we move deeper into the tournament. Larry's still waiting to find out who he's going to play, and that'll be the winner of the Hazard Danny match. So there's a few matches still to be scheduled. The deadline date for round 2 is the 11th, so there's still plenty of time. So we've got that match between, I think there's 2 or 3 matches tomorrow night, so it won't matter when they play, I'll be there for them. And this match tonight, good evening guys, welcome. This should be an interesting tie. What is the Henry match? Is the Henry White match meant to be on tonight? I didn't think it was on so soon. Wait a minute to ask them. I thought it was meant to be next week. Well, there'll be plenty of streams of it anyway. Loads, you just need to look. So, what we got? We're about a minute and a half away. And, well, Spectredawn no doubt will be, I assume, the favourite. I don't think I've really seen Sergeresh play an awful lot. I don't know what his main game is. Where's he from? Is that Belgium? Or what the hell flag's that? I can't see it properly. Belarus, is it? I'm trying to read what it says. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Belarus it is, right. So, yeah, we're hoping for a good match. There's a chance for these players to get into the top 10. Tommy, you managed to move into it last night, as did LS3. But it's still Stubb and Larry joint top for the 1,000 V bonus. Right, I think we're good to go. The room is up. I am in. Sergeresh is in. And Spectredawn has arrived. And here we go. Haven't a clue who's who again. It's going to be close. But Sergeresh has won it. Well, big difference in the ratings. Spectredawn 2,408, Sergeresh 2,173, but that doesn't mean a lot. What it means is that Sergeresh should be running racks just the same as what Spectredawn should be doing. That's what it means. And Sergeresh, good start with the ball in the break, but no luck. But once again, look at the table. Immediately we've got a table that's asking to be run, and Sergeresh either has to pot this from a jump or get it safe. Well, that's a good shot. Now, well, again there's problems, and Sergeresh can jump the 7 and can try and catch the edge of that 2 left side to come around the angles and back up the table, but there probably won't be an awful lot of pace in the cue ball. Oh, well, a lot more pace than I thought, and that will do. That's an excellent bit of running there. So welcome to all the latecomers. As I said earlier there's 2 matches on tonight, both at the same time. This one and Dirty's match on the 1 loss side, but I'm not sure whether that will actually go ahead. That remains to be seen. We'll have a look at the bracket and see what happens, but there might be a forfeit in that one. No other matches scheduled today, but there's 2 or 3 tomorrow, and we'll look at them when we get time. Well, Spectredawn looks as if he's going to steal this rack. And what we're looking for here is a level of consistency, which very often isn't helped by the match getting bogged down with balls going awkward and stuff like that. We're looking for somebody to find a bit of fluency, and there's a good chance of that with these 2 players, or at least I would expect that to be the case. Check my little doodle. So the first one on the board against the break. That rack looks fairly straight to me. And there's what we're talking about. Balls going outward. 2 balls locked up. Nothing happening there. And Sergeresh has a choice here to go all out and try and cut this and then run into something. Yeah. Well, he's missed on both counts here, because I think obviously he went for the pot and he went for the breakout, didn't get it, and that's probably not a bad result, because Spectredawn with top left is trying to come down towards the 5 ball. He's a bit short in pace though, and he could end up in trouble himself here. There's good hiding places on this table, so whoever is going to gain control needs a good safety to start with. That might not be it though, Sergeresh, I'm afraid. But of course the 2 balls, the safety net, nothing's happening until that's broken out. So race to 19. And a good safety is the order of the day. Try and get a better position when you come to the table after Sergeresh's shot here. Well, this is certainly going to entice Spectredawn into going for the cut. It's way offline to be something that's going to be easy, and he's took the bait, he's gone for it. Now it's up to Sergeresh to make him pay the price. It was still perfectly simple to play a decent safety shot on that, but these players, it's too much bait for them, they can't resist going for it. And as I said, when players like Spectredawn and Larry and all these guys go for all of these shots, whoever they're playing, it's up to them to make the most of these chances, because they will go for virtually everything. And straight away, Sergeresh has blown it. Got to get them online and smooth and sweet for them to go in these pockets. You start taking liberties, they're going to rattle. They're going to come out. Now, has Sergeresh got away with it? Yes, he has. But if you don't punish these, well, let's just put it this way, these main contenders for the tournament, if you don't punish them, you know, they're not going to sort of wind their neck in. If you do start punishing them and taking these chances, then they begin to get the doubts into their head. That's a good shot. And now time to get this cue ball across the table and lined up good on this 8 to take the rack out. Which shouldn't be a problem now to square the match. Almost beaten Curly today in good luck mode 11-1. Almost beaten. What you mean, he beat you 11-1? That's another straight rack. 7 ball goes in. Well, I usually find the AI at that level pop balls in every direction and play all sorts of combos and banks and crazy shots. That's the one thing that the AI are like in the offline. They're either total numpties or, you know, just bloody deadly. Well, Spectredawn's convinced he can go over that 3 ball. Well, he's been very ambitious there, and this is my point. This is an excellent opportunity for Sergeresh to get into the lead here. Make sure you're far enough over to the left to get the 2, and then the problem starts by potting the 2, because it's whether he can try and get. He can't get out of there for that 5 ball unless he tries to draw and avoid it, and he's done it, but he's going to be running. And that's just gone far enough. Well, there you go. What did I say? I told you King Eric wouldn't turn up. I don't think he's ever showed up for a tournament yet, but there again, Sergeresh has got to get these pots. That's 2 good chances. And that's another one gone. Got to, again, that's, Larry's right enough what you're saying. These players need to slow down and take their time and get themselves set. You've got to set yourself up for a shot. You would do it in real life. You know, you've got to use your shot clock and take your time. And now Sergeresh may well end up losing it. Well, the only good thing about that, if it's a nervous start for Sergeresh, then it's only 2-1 down. You don't want a nervous start and end up being 5-1 down. So he's got to steady the ship here early on. Good evening to Semi-Pro. See, you should never ever get out of... You should never ever change the way you do things unless it's a tactical thing. You know, trying to slow the game down or whatever. But you should never really change and feel that you're having to hurry to do things, because that's the wrong way to go about it. You should be totally focused on what you're about to do. You see far too many players so desperate to get the shot over with. But nevertheless, Spectredawn has the lead. And, well, if he can get on this 4, that little brush in the 5 will help. Then, again, you'd expect him to be out. Are the nerves, Hugh? It's same like in real life. See that's the first thing you need to get out of your head. It doesn't matter who's watching, because you know the top pros in real life, it doesn't matter how many people's watching, because those guys are so focused on their job, on what they do. It wouldn't matter if there's 3 people looking or 30,000 people looking or whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. You know, you're blanking out everything around you if you've got a live audience there, and the fact that you're playing a game, you've got everything to your advantage. It's just you and your opponent, and as long as your mindset is on exactly what you're here to do, then it shouldn't bother you how many people's looking. You've got to train the brain, because it then means you've got the wrong thoughts going through your head as well. already we have a 3-1 gap for Spectredawn. And this time though, he's overhit that one. He'll still go for the cut because the cue ball should finish down in this corner. It's a good shot, but again, just overhit it slightly. And I think he's going to end up the same, and this time that might be one too far. I think it might be the reverse bank here. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, he's not cutting that, I don't think. Or he's going to convince me otherwise, but there's a danger of scratching if he tries that, because he's going to have to hit it plain ball. Just watch the cue ball. Well, that couldn't have worked out any better. Perfect little nudge in the 7, send it over the hole. And he might have to check this inside just to square it up, which he's done. And all of a sudden, Sergeresh, doesn't matter how nervous he is now, it's ended up what I said it might be. He'll be getting more nervous now that it's 4-1 than what it was when it was 1 each and he had a chance to win that rack to take the lead, which is no good. So now's about the right time to settle down. So he's now got something to focus on. Well, this is another tricky shot. These are not easy. And again, it's played well and controlled well. This is another little testy one. And that's what happens. Now, this is not going to be easy either, but it's a chance for Sergeresh. Let's have a look at it from this end. So he's going to have to dig into this to get that cue ball just to hold, and that's well played. And there was no nerves about that shot. And what you've got to remember is, I mean, when you listen to somebody, I mean, all I'm trying to do is trying to get inside your head when I'm watching this. There's a lot of players you'll understand it's impossible to get inside their head because, first of all, they don't know what's going on inside their head, and balls end up going all over the place. There's no common sense to them. Whereas, generally speaking, the better players who've got a general idea of what they're doing, then it's a lot easier to actually sort of anticipate most of the time what they're attempting to do, which makes commentating a wee bit easier. But then at the end of the day, the commentating is basically someone seeing a match, and the way to look at it is speaking their thoughts out loud. That's all it is. And like I've always said, if I see crap, then it gets called as crap. And the truth is that if every player holds their hand up, they'll all admit it was crap. You know, that's the truth of the matter. If every player was honest enough to say, you know what, see, at the end of the day, he's right what he said there. And I don't get many players coming to me other than paranoid players like Wanwa, who wrote me like a 3-page email because I was commentating on his match and tell me his life story. You know, he takes it the wrong way. Whereas at the end of the day, all it is somebody voicing their opinion on what they're seeing, whether it's good, bad or ugly, and that's all it is. It's not in any way some sort of humiliation process. That's never what it's meant to be. and it's always been something to look back on in a few years to come, as people will do eventually. But anyway, Sergeresh getting it back to within 2, but it looks like very quickly Spectredawn's, saying, I'm keeping my distance here. And Spectredawn's not changing any pace at all. He's got a job in hand and he's out to do it. You can tell that straight away. He's not messing about. It's all about Sergeresh staying with him. And again, you have to go on the 2 or 3 things, the usual rules. You can't be relying on Spectredawn to give you any help. You have to make the most of what you get. And you have to do other things to stop him getting racks, one way or another. So 5-2, and a dry break, and nothing at all for Sergeresh. Now, does he think he can... Well, there's no way he can get a hit on that one. Well, I have to say, I'm not convinced that was a great shot. If only because it's given Spectredawn close contact with the one. Okay, Spectredawn's ran out of line, but it was not... Again, this is another thing I keep going on about as well. You've got to think about your push-outs. And Sergeresh, I think, was a bit... I mean, the simple shot was just to roll to the rail. I mean, had he rolled down to here, he would have left an edge of the one, and he may well have been put back in. But to actually roll the cue ball to here and to give Spectredawn a free shot in the one was a bit silly. Good evening, Potman. Well, the angle's there on this 3, and maybe a wee bit of helping spin as well. I'm not so sure whether he might need it or not. Let's have a look. That needs to slow down though. Touch like a sledgehammer. That is not good. Looking to get into this area here with that shot. The reverse bank is still on. And then the nudge on to the 6. And the 4's gone. It's hung up. Like I say, these chances are going to be few and far between for Sergeresh, but you've got to play proper, sensible push-outs, and the chance he had there, way too heavy on the positional shot in the 4. And that's where you get found out. If the positional play is not good, you end up not stringing balls together, and you end up going further and further behind, although Spectredawn again is doing his best to get himself in trouble. Now, he could still just bite the bullet here and play a thin edge off that 6. Let's have a look. There's absolutely nothing to stop Spectredawn thinning that, going there and coming over here, but he's going all out. He's going all out for it. Well, Spectredawn may eventually run out of all of these awkward shots. He's getting them at the moment, but as I said, Sergeresh cannot rely on gifts on a plate here. They just ain't going to come, and if they do, they're going to be few and far between. You've got to get yourself into this game one way or another. So, Sergeresh, and again, this is the other point also, when the player's a bit if the player is a bit nervy, then they make the wrong shot choices. They get desperate early on. They get desperate too soon. They start trying to go for everything to get back into the match, and then it just causes more trouble. But here's a quick way of winning a rack for Sergeresh. The 2-9 combo. Plenty of time in the clock, so you get yourself set to give yourself every chance of this going in. And this should be going in. And it just seemed that there was nothing sort of gentle and smooth about that shot, was there? It was like, let's get it over and done with. That was not a difficult combo in the 9th. Well, there's not going to be any replays because I'm not using XSplit Broadcaster. I'm using Gamecaster. And if you remember, my replays got broken after an update, and I couldn't be asked messing about it to see if it worked again, which is another reason why I'm not using Broadcaster. Well, the alarm bells are definitely ringing here. This is threatening to end up a bit of a bloodbath unless Sergeresh can find a way to get back into this. But you've got to measure up particular shots. Is it worth trying to be a hero and running a rack out when the odds are maybe not that good? Where maybe a better safety shot might gain you a better opportunity. I don't know, but you have to try and change strategy one way or another and try and do something. It's now 7-2. 9 ball in the break, it's now 8-2. And that's got to hurt. Three ball. And that 8 ball has just gone into a blocking position. Well, there's one shot on here that's worth trying, is getting to the rail and brushing that one towards the 7 and letting the cue ball run that way if you get lucky enough. That's one shot. You don't want to hit it full ball. Well, he has hit it full ball, and all he's done is brought it into play. To me, the one option there would be to try and hit a half ball or the left edge using the rail, and then just knocking it behind the 7. But the 2 ball was still awkward, but it's now a combo. Again, this is not a difficult combo because it's all about picking that line for the 2 to the 6. You're not worried about the 6, you're just looking to where the line is to the 6. And the 2 ball still in play. That was never guaranteed, but that will do. Well, nothing's going to change unless Sergeresh makes things change one way or another. He's going to need a bit of luck, and now he is relying on help. But like I said, it's unlikely he's going to get much. Very unlikely. And racks are dripping away here. It's now 9-2. And 3 ball in the break. A very, very thin cut in that one. That's going to scratch. So here's a gift of a chance, which, well, when you have ball in hand, you simply have to do these. There's nothing here that's difficult. Now you've got to get off the rail with this sport, and you've got to just punch it in. You can't play things half-hearted. You have to just play them the way you would play them. And that'll bounce reasonably okay. Now this is a little stunny draw, and the only danger here is the line that this might take can go very near the middle pocket. But you should be stunning it rather than letting it run off rails. Now again, that's a sort of that's a safety shot. Well, the other thing is there wouldn't be any record of the stats either. And that's a good result for Sergeresh, stemming the tide very slightly. Again, all of these racks I've looked at, they look fairly straight so far. So the 3 ball has gone in the break. Now, ideally, somewhere sort of there in this 4 would be perfect, because that means you can pot the 4 and hold for the 5, because I'm sure the 5 goes, which it does, and that's not a bad line. Just come back just a tad too much. This is important for Sergeresh to stay focused on the job in hand here and get 2 quick racks on the board. Needs to get up there. Well, 2 quick racks, especially recovering that last one and running this one, should settle Sergeresh down, especially if he starts getting balls in the break. And no sooner have you said that than he gets absolutely zilch. And this already is hinging on that 1 ball, because Spectredawn's got it. 3 ball passes a 9. It's just position up to the 4 and he should be out. The only problem ball is going to be the 6. The 5 ball being at the top end of the table, he could roll it into the left middle. It looks as if he might from this once he pots the 4. So if he rolls the 5 into the left middle, he may well be leaving the bank on the 6, because he's going to have to come awful low to this bottom end of the table here if he's going to take the 6 long. But when you think of that, look at where the 7 is. So this is not, it's not an easy run out, but it is about how good you are with the cue ball, because this is a test on that ability at the end of the day. And it looks from the angle he's got in the 5 that he's going to come to this bottom side of the 6. And this is now a toughie, because he's got to get the pot and he's got to get this cue ball across the table, I would have thought, with a fair bit of pace to leave some sort of shot in this 7. Is he trying to punch it into the middle to run through? This is tight. I mean, if he was to play that shot, he's going to have to force the cue ball to come across, I would think. And now he's trying to get to the shot. That's excellent. If only the fact that he's pretty close to the rail, but that's a great shot. And of course, remember, there's nothing more painful than having just 1-2 racks, especially when you ran the last one. You go ahead and you break, you come up dry. There wasn't an easy starter for Spectredawn, but he gets the 1 ball and he runs the table, which was not exactly easy to run out, but he's done it. And that's the big difference. If you're going to be a contender, you have to be doing stuff like that. And he regains a 6 rack lead. And push out has been played. Well, Sergeresh could have a shot to nothing here, a cut in the 1 to the right corner, and the cue ball running around the angles to come down amongst these balls at the bottom of the table, with the 2 ball being down here on the right hand side. So it might be worth having a go. And when he's gone for the bank the other way, problem with that is though, is where he's finished. And to me, the cut was a 2-in-1 shot. You play the cut, and if you get it, fine. At least you should be near the 2. If you don't get it, then you should have the distance, and you may well have cover. So again, I don't think it was the right shot. And he's just cue ball to stay up. If he'd played the shot I was talking about, it would have had the back up both ways. If he gets the pot, he's probably got, maybe even a safety in the 2. But well, here's his chance. Big wide space to get into, shouldn't be a problem. That's the gap. In there. And this is the one that will be the problem, because this is a difficult one to judge the pace. If you go around the angles, you're coming over to the right side past the 5 and 6. He's played the draw, and that's where the control lets you down. It's difficult to judge. And rather than, you should be banking this to the top rail and running for cover here. It's this idea of being all out to pot balls. And to me, this is crying out for a safety shot. Well, he's got it, but he's now got to back it all the way. And sooner or later, you know what the saying is, if you keep going to the well, you're going to eventually come up dry. But this will be a good one to dig out if he does it. And that's the one that lets you down. And that's the pressure of forcing yourself into trying to run the rack. Eventually you're going to run out of steam. And now he has to hope that Spectredawn fails in this cut here. That isn't a gimme. But he ain't missing them. And this is another rack that's going to leak away. Would he have been better off taking the safety when he had the chance? Because once you've made that decision and you get that first pot, then you've got to deliver. And that's a failure for Sergeresh. And all it means is he's now 7 behind. And another straight rack, or very slightly tilted to the left, very, very slightly. And the one ball gets kicked in. Oh, aye, and you can see the 2 and the 3's down the bottom of the table. And, well, the only lifesaver here is that 7. Which if he ends up in the bottom rail, it's an easy enough combo. But if he plays the 5, he can get the breakout. So there's every opportunity here for Spectredawn to run this rack. Even though there's a problem there, he's going to have the opportunity to deal with it one way or another. He might try it now, which is a bit dangerous. Yeah, he's done the right thing. And I don't know whether he's gone far enough. He may well decide just to drop to the rail. If he can get down here, that 7's far enough off the rail. Well, he's went for the breakout, and that will do. He's took the risk, and he's still on the 6. Took a risk doing that because you're never guaranteed you're going to end up in a 6 ball, but you know, sometimes you just have to take that risk. And again, with a comfortable lead, it was probably well worth having a go at it. He didn't really need to. Well, this match is moving on at a good pace because you know, we've been 45 minutes into other matches this week, and there's only been like 10 racks played, and that's a mistake. And there's one where he's taking his eye off the ball and giving Sergeresh a gift after all that hard work. Spectredawn's blowing that one big time, but Sergeresh needs a bit of luck here, needs a ball and a shot, and there's nothing going anywhere near a pocket. And I don't know, I haven't been paying attention about, and I never looked at that 9 ball, but that 9 ball may well have been stuck to the rail, and that's why you've got to get really good on them. And that's why they're easy to miss. But Spectredawn immediately looking to remedy the situation. Wide open table. And plenty of room to miss the 8 and 9. Just a straight roll in. Now, 5 ball goes past the 7 and the 5 ball goes past the 6, so it's his choice where he wants to play it from. Not a problem. And the angle that he's got there gives him again a choice. He can finish behind it by stunning it, or he can just come back out. So he's finished more or less behind it. Well, there's probably the safest shot is just a draw. Just get it into the table, that's all that matters. So one gift is all that Spectredawn has given Sergeresh in 17 racks, and it's now 12-5. That's straight. Good evening to Bedhead. So, here we go. Wide open table, balls perfect. Might just be Steam settings. Now, who's Popman having a conversation with here? Where's Haz? I can't see. I can't see where Haz said anything in the chat, or I've missed something. Anyway, can Sergeresh? Oh, about the replays. Can Sergeresh take this out? Now, is he wanting to run over to here to take the 6 into the middle past the 8? Because that looks like, again, the sensible shot, because that's where the cue ball wants to go. It means you're not trying to do any acrobatics with the cue ball. So he's letting it run. And to me, the simple shot was to just let the cue ball run through for the 6 there. Where was the problem with that shot? He's now got himself in a whole heap of trouble here again, for no particular reason. He's having to dig out recovery shots like this. And again, common sense, using the angle that the 5 ball wanted to go was a shot, and now he's pushed the boat out too far. And the chance is gone. And why Sergeresh couldn't see that as being the simplest of shots is beyond me. Just roll the 5 in, the cue ball takes its natural path, and you drop the 6 in behind that 8 ball. Job done. And it's a rack that's gone, that should have been in Sergeresh's pocket when he got the chance. And Spectredawn, well, balls are going in the break. He's got the thin cut and the one down the rail. He's going to have to dig the cue ball here because the one's in the top cushion. And he's played the bank and the combo on the 9. And again, that's another one. That is a kick right in the groin there, that one. That's slightly tilted as well. And Spectredawn is in a hurry to get things done. It's now 14 racks to 5, and that's asking too much now. Big time. We'll have a look at the stats to see if Spectredawn's got himself into the top 10. He should have got a few, I would have thought. Well, the way that Sergeresh has got himself out of shape on a few of these shots is exactly what Stubb will do. Can read Stubb like a book. He'll get himself into all of these awkward positions where he's trying pot after pot to recover. He'll get a few of them, but he'll run out of important ones, and it'll cost him, as it always has done in the end. And this is his best chance of winning a tournament, a big tourney. Hasn't won one for how many years is that now, Stubb? 11 years, is it? You know, you're only going to be a legend in your own mind, Stubb, a bit like me. That's exactly what you're going to be once VP4's done and dusted and long gone. Well, it's 15-5. How far are we? We're 52 minutes into the match, and we've played 20 racks. Somebody do the arithmetic and find out what the average is. Average minutes per rack, that is. So, again, it looks odds on that if Spectredawn can get a half decent angle on the 3, he'll look for the breakout on the 4. And well, that's gone wrong. Yeah, having to play the jump escape. You know what? I think he's on that 4. He certainly is. He can just pot the 4 and brush off the 6, and he'll be on that 5, no problem. And if he needs to, he might, whether he can use the 7. It's tightish, but it definitely goes. He might want to try and, I don't know whether he can hit it into the rail and hit it off the 7. Yeah, he's trying that. He's trying it. And that's unlucky. It was not easy at all to get that to hold that line. But here's Sergeresh. Oh, that's ended up a foul. He's hit the 7 first. Well, that's another disaster. And well, Sergeresh never got off the ground, did he? And Spectredawn never let him get off the ground, which is how to do it. Sergeresh up against a player who basically means business, just wants to get on with it, get it done. Has made one main boo-boo on that 9 ball, but that's been about it. So 16-5. And another ball in the break. A shot in the 1. And the 7 and 8 are tied up. Now again, it's worth the risk here. He's gone maybe a bit too far, but it would have been worthwhile trying to get into that 7 and 8 and still been able to see the 3 to cut it. I mean, he can still do that off the 5. The 5 actually would be ideal. If you can get here in the 5, you can then run the cue ball and run it into the 7 and 8 that way. Well, this requires a little draw to leave him that angle to pot the 5 and run into the 7 and 8. I mean that's. I don't know whether he wants to play that line at all. He looks as if he's going forward, but you just want to have some sort of angle this side to allow you just to run into them. Well, that'll do if it keeps going. If it gets to the line, right on the commentator's line, and that's perfect. Now he needs a bit of luck, and well, the 8 going in's fine. It's just a little dodgy cut in the 7 and making sure he stays in the table to play the 9. And where was the problem? It's all too easy. Spectredawn within 2. We'll have a good look at the bracket after this, and just to see where things stand, and remind myself and anybody else that's interested of what's happening over the next couple of days, because we do have a few matches on. So it's now about consolation racks here for Sergeresh. The match is lost, and he's going to have to force this one to get this cue ball through. Sent it into the jaws first. Now, is he trying to cut this or bang it off the 4? Well, he's scratched, so Sergeresh still has a chance of another rack. Well, I'll be looking for a stream once I'm done with this match, and I can guarantee I'll find something somewhere. Oh dear goodness me, Sergeresh is all over the shop and wants this nightmare to finish, because I don't know what the hell he tried there with that 4 ball. He wants to exit the building sharpish. This is neither here nor there, one of these positional shots. So, Spectredawn on the brink, and it's been all too easy, but it's been very efficient for the most part by Spectredawn. Fast and efficient and clinical, no messing about, and that was just too good for Sergeresh. What for the match? I'll check it out once I'm done. Thanks very much. No, you can't, because it won't work. I mean, you can put the link into the VP4 lobby, but you know, I can bring it up in the internal browser. I'll probably end up getting done for copyright though, which I don't really want. Anyway, Spectredawn hammering in the last few nails into Sergeresh's coffin for this match. Of course, it is double elimination. And that's a player I've never seen before, this guy, Sergeresh. We'll be able to get an idea of what sort of level he plays at. But it's like I say, I mean, it doesn't matter how good you look in a challenge room. That means nothing. Once you're in the melting pot over the distance, you're going to get found out as to how good a level you play at and how you cope with situations. And that's maybe something that Sergeresh is finding out. You know, it's very easy to, you know, bolster your rating, and it doesn't matter what your rating is and how pretty it looks. It's delivering the goods when it matters and mixing it with the top end players. And he's maybe found out that he's got a way to go before he can join that elite group. So Spectredawn completing the formalities here. It's been a performance to let a few guys know that somebody might be stepping on their toes if they bump into him, and be wary of. And Spectredawn cruises through to round 3 by 19 racks to 5. Very well done. Well, Sergeresh can try on that one loss side. Right, let's have a look. This bracket will update in a sec. I've still got it the wrong bloody time. We'll start from top to bottom. I would say top. I was talking to a bunch of people from Ayrshire, but I'll say top. Right, well, we know where we stand. Bill has gone through to round 3. Albinario and Mal, don't know what's happening there. But again, we've got until April the 11th for these matches to be completed on the winner's side, or the round 2 matches, I should say. We've got the match tomorrow night, or one match, I think, at 8 PM. But we've got Bedhead tomorrow as well before this. So we've got Sergeresh and MC McClarkey at 8 PM tomorrow night. We've got these matches all set in the bracket, but no times on them. We've got Larry through to round 3, Mr. Fox through to round 3, and then we've got VP Monster at 7 PM on the 7th, so that's Wednesday night. So this one's for tomorrow night, and that one's for Wednesday night between Mongoose or VP Monster and Cobra. We've got LS3 having come through that final rack decider against Tommy Ute. She's through to round 3, waiting to play the winner of Bedhead and Linus, which is at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. So that'll be the first match tomorrow at tea time, British summer time, 6 PM, followed by the match between Sergeresh and Cobra at 8 PM. And as we go further down, we can see Stubb waiting to play the winner of Interchange X and Mooncake. I don't know what's happening there. And Spectredawn, having gone through tonight, is waiting on the winner of Swiley and Hairpig, which is not until the 10th. Yeah, that's Wednesday, isn't it? No, wait a minute, hang on a minute. What day is this? Monday? This is the 5th, isn't it? Right, wait a minute. Oh shit, you're right, I can't see. I thought that was the 6th. You're right, Bedhead. Well, anyway, we've got one match on tomorrow night. I don't see anything on the one loss side. Let's have a look. Of course, that might change by tomorrow, but there's nothing on there. Let's have a look at the stats. The more important thing, the stats for the tournament, to see where Spectredawn has got. So we go to the 9-ball stats and Iraq's run stat. We can see that Spectredawn has jumped straight on there to 7. So he's now joint 3rd on the board. We've still got Larry and Stubb joint top, then Tommy U on 9, Cyrus on 7. But Cyrus has only played one match, so he may well have the chance tomorrow to go to the top. So that's going to, or whenever the hell it's played. And of course, some players have played one more match than the others, but Larry and Stubb have played 2 matches that are both in 12. So Spectredawn has thrown his hat into the ring. He's on 7, and he's in contention for the end of the tournament to see who gets that extra 1,000 V dollars. So with that, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you again tomorrow night at some point. If you can join us, remember, if you can't, the matches that I do stream will be on my YouTube channel. You can watch them at a later date. So with that, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon.